direction from our superintendent is quite clear, and I know he has the support of the board to ensure that every student in our school has that opportunity. Our issue and our goal has to be graduation for all students. That needs to be the driver for all of our work as a DLEC and as a TAC. And so when we look at those services and actions and the goals in our local control accountability plan, they should all be those scaffolds and support that lead to 100% graduation.
Okay, it is so rare that we as journalists get actually to talk to parents who are willing to step into the public space. When I was a parent, I was very afraid of making the teachers angry at me, because then it would maybe spill out onto my kids. So I was Miss Nice Guy for most of the time. So I really admire parents who step forward, and because we're risking the goodwill of teachers who are, most of whom very dedicated, but we are still risking a lot. So just thank you so much for giving up your morning. How would you rate the efforts of LAUSD to open up in a new way to engage parents seriously around setting priorities?
I'm the parent of two daughters in elementary school and one in middle school now. So I've been in the LAUSD system for nearly 7 years. When I first began in school, I knew nothing of the American education system. I slowly became involved in school because I wanted to find out more. And I was interested in the amount of parent involvement in our school trying to make the school better. We've been very fortunate in my school that we've had a principal who stayed with us for the whole of that time, who has been engaged, and she has grown with us. So from there, I was there at the beginning of the PCAC a couple of years ago, going to meetings with a group of parents who have been fighting for years to get more engagement with the school district in an authentic way, to really see change because parents were asking for it. They didn't see that. They were very cynical. They were opinionated because of their experiences. And over the last 2 years, from my own experience, I can say I have seen positive change. I'm now involved at the ESC level with the Title I Parent as Equal Partners group. We've been studying the parent engagement part of Title I to see how we can actually translate that into action in our schools. It's a difficult process, and as Yolanda mentioned earlier, the language. No one understands the language. We've spent hours trying to work out what they are telling us that we are allowed to do. We need the language in more simple terms. We need training for parents, we need training for principals and for staff to really authentically engage. We need to spend more money on this training. I know that Superintendent Daisy, who I do support, I think he's made great strides in including parents in what's happening in our schools, but we need the funding to help us train parents, to train staff, to engage and look at how we can be more involved in our children's education, how we can increase our student achievement. Thank you.
Thank you. I know I'm putting you guys on the spot, but you're next. And then we have 3 more people. And then if any journalists are here and burning to ask a question, raise your hand too, because this is our briefing journalism. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Amy Mejia. I come from the South region. I'm a parent of my daughter. She's 5 years old. She's in transitional kinder right now. So what I would like to say is I am in all 3 school committees at my school, ELAC, School Site Council, Local School Leadership. And just starting out, everybody has told me, you know everything now. And I'm like, no, I feel like I just know just barely a little bit. But everybody says, you are trained completely. I'm like, no, I'm not. We need further training. So I could really make a difference there. And what better way to put the money into us, the parents? You don't need to pay us, just put the money for our training. I'm gonna follow my daughter throughout her school, her progress. all the way until she graduates and then further into college. My daughter already speaks about going to college, and she has no idea what she's going to have to go through. I know what she has to go through, and I'm here to be able to make that better for her, to make sure that she gets there. Because she wants it already, and she's in transitional kinder. It's her first year in school, and she already wants to be in college. Mommy, I want to go to school like you did. And that's what we need to do. And just being part of ELAC, one of the problems that I've seen is, yes, of course, the funding. Thank goodness we have Prop 30 that passed, we have, LCFF, and what we need is to make sure not only that the money gets to us, but that it's done in a manner that we can see it, that we can utilize it, that it's not, as Yolanda mentioned, there's $7 million for parent engagement. Where is that? Do I see it? No. I think ours was all about $5,000. So we really need it to come to us. Thank you.
Excellent.
I'd like to ask a parent who's Native American, who's been involved, because that perspective, I know you don't speak for all, you do speak for your own experience, and we need that at the table.
Hello everyone, thank you for inviting me out. My name is Rudy Ortega Jr. I'm also the chair of the Los Angeles City County Indian Commission. I'm also vice president of my tribe, which is the Fernandino, Batavia, and Band of Mission Indians. We are San Fernando Mission Indians, and one of the things, I do have 4 children in the school district. I have 1 in high school and 3 from K to 8 in one of those new schools that were built a couple years back, which is now called an academy. And looking at, I've heard, they're looking to model, and there's no communication between the district and the school. The principal really wants to run her own program, a USC graduate, and trying to do something to improve it. But I'm here to speak about not just my children and what we experience because I do speak out, and so does my wife and my kids too. One is racism in the schools. My child was looked upon by one of the teachers and was trying to be held back because she was Native American. A lot of them, my older daughter chose not to identify herself as Native American for one period of time because being raised upon, and we all looked upon, my tribe is not a federally recognized tribe, we're historically recognized, we're state recognized as well. And we don't have a lot of benefits of all the tribes. As mentioned, we're all different sovereign nations, and some tribes had union funds, which everyone looks upon as a tribe, well, you must have funding. It's not so. In our tribe, what we do, we create an education department that does tutoring, after-school programming, cultural enrichment programming. But we find that, as we spoke about, there's a huge diversity in Los Angeles Schools District that needs to be identified. But more importantly, we need to understand what lands we're on. Identify and correctly correct the history being told and taught in schools. Kids are given 1 month to learn about all the American Indian tribes in the nation. There's over 1,000 tribes. Not just U.S. America, Canada, South America, Mexico. All these people are indigenous people that were part of this continent. And my ancestry does have that roots. We go down all the way, my mother's side goes down all the way down into Mexico, which is indigenous. My ancestry has indigenous background from there and has been identified. But this is important. As far as education, besides learning English, I laugh because in my staff I tell them, we're still learning English. I speak it incorrectly at some times because we have the different languages that were brought to us. We were speaking our native language through Spanish language, not English language. So we have to learn the languages. It's important that we share this profit, and I'm trying to understand and listen to everybody how the funds are being distributed and how they be allocated. But it's important also too, not just to focus on one central point, but diversify our fund. In order to do that, we have to reach all the different cultures and disciplines that make Unified School District today. And make sure of that.
What would you say is the best thing that is happening around the LCFF? What would you give a high mark?
The best thing from the school that my 3 children are in right now, K to 8, is the high leadership value that they're teaching for the children. They're giving it to the kids and the parents. I think that this school, that is happening, that I've seen. I have to accomplish and applaud that school principal and that school itself because they are teaching the kids leadership values. They are teaching the parents leadership values. They are participating. And they are doing the workshops and stuff after hours when parents can attend these meetings. They do have some in the morning. And those who are like myself and my wife, we work the 9 to 5 and we can't get out on any special occasions, they have those special meetings, the breakfast with the principal. At 7:30 in the morning, we get to have breakfast with her, and then talk about the school values. And I think that's where that principal has led the mark in that.
Thank you. I think that would be a fascinating day in the life of your school. Breakfast with the principal is a wonderful story for us to do. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Roberto Fonseca. I have 2 children in LUSD. Let me explain to you my concern. I have a comment, but I have a concern. The comment is this, as simple as that. We are over 600 schools in LUSD. Now, each of the community been spoken of, the DLAC and the PAC, which previously was the DAC, then they made it to the PPAC, and then they made it to the DLAC, now it's at the PAC. This is how the system is going through with us, okay? The fundamental problem that I see, look, there are 47 members of the PAC. The DLAC has 40, I think it's about 42. What happened to the other? Each region has over 100 schools. And each region is represented by 2 parents only. How those 2 parents are going to disseminate information to all the rest of the schools? Same thing is happening with the PAC. The PAC, we are 47, I am a member of the PAC. 47 parents. We're there just to give commentaries. I don't even know whether what we said is going to be brought to the superintendent, whether they're going to take into account what we say. But my greatest concern is LCFS. People at the school site have no clue what LCFS is. They have no clue what the Common Core is. Why? Because of lack of training. The district is not willing to train. Let me put it this way. They pressure us at the last moment during the month between April and May. And they say, you know what? We need to approve the budget, the school budget. They call meeting after meetings. Did we train the parents how to read the data, how to read the budget? Do they train how to combine the data and the budget? Do they train how to do the single plan with student achievement? Do they understand how to combine all this? That is not happening. So in here, if we don't do anything, we're going to be making speeches to each other. Because the people of the masses are not being listened to us. The district is neglecting the masses. We're only about 47 in the back. And the middle, which is the educational service center that the district has, each of those centers has money to train all the schools. But what is it at? So that's my problem. That is my concern. Because you see, as long as we do not train the masses, our children are going to fail. That's the bottom line.
Could I ask you very quickly, because years also trying to kind of give a report card, here's the good stuff, here's what we think needs to be done.
Let me give you the best, what I think it could happen with LCFS, if it is genuinely implemented, is that really the LUSD needs to treat parents the same way that they would like to be treated. All right?
I've got one question over here,
man.
and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got you all. Okay, but we're going to end
Do you think a
at
person in this room
1:45
knows how much the district gets for their school?
to give people a chance
Has
to
ever
talk to
seen a
people
real school budget?
one-on-one. So
The 40
Christina, you had a
column wide.
question.
Not one of them.
I have a question.
So how are they
directed
supposed to
at
do
Mr.
this?
Grossa. As I said,
Why is
I
she getting
have
2
a
shots?
kid at the Mandarin
She's got
immersion
2
program.
shots.
My question is, when
That's
you
ridiculous.
have schools are being broken apart, program being broken apart, kids being
What about all the rest of these
relocated to a
people?
different school because of space issue, how are those decisions made? Because in our own school, under school board member Steve Zimmer, we were basically at the situation where we were just told that our program has to be broken apart in 2 school years. And basically, K to 2 will be in one school, and 3rd to 5th will be another school. From my personal perspective, there's no outreach effort to the parents as to why this decision was made the way it was. When we were told there are meetings at the schools and the upcoming school, basically we were told by board member Zimmer, well, that's the way it is. And when we asked, well, what would be the alternative? He says, well, you don't want to know. There's no alternative. Basically, we were just told that's the way it is, roll with the program. our particular community has really suffered in our school when there are parents, angry parents, picketing outside the school, saying Mandarin equals segregation, you know, calling our parents elitists, calling our kids, you know, names. And parents don't have ill will towards another parent community. It's not our fault that our school was dilapidated, therefore our program was introduced and we saved the school. But then the English language parents, their kids got kicked out of the school, moved to another location. All the while, Steve Zimmer decided to introduce Spanish immersion program into the community that already had no space. So 3 communities were greatly impacted, and I see no effort from my perspective from the district to outwit LAPD officers outside our school. That's how bad it is. Our students have to walk through the community and see those ugly picketing signs and learn to hate one another. That is not the way to go. And I wanted to know what the district is planning to do in terms of helping bring the communities together.
Ms. Lee, I wish I had the response for you. I'm not familiar with all the facts to be able to respond to your question, but I will personally reach out to Mr. Zimmer as well as to your Educational Service Center Instructional Superintendent, Ms. Hildreth, because I know that they have been working together and are more than happy to address the needs of the community.
Inside.
With working with community outreach, I know they've had a series of evening meetings and meetings during the day and night, but if you still have questions and you've been very involved, then further communication is definitely warranted, and you have my commitment to inform them as such.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Adam Prieto. I'm part of the DLAC, I'm public relations of DLAC, I'm part of the ELAC School Site Council at my school, and I'm a parent that's very concerned of how